G'day everyone, and welcome to episode 15 of the Risky Rollers podcast. I'm Dalton, and I'm joined by Locky.
Hello, everyone.
And once again by Charlie.
Hey.
And Laurence.
What's up?
And we've all been down to Geelong Heresy over the weekend, which you guys would have heard about last week and seen all the updates on Instagram and our armies coming out during the week on Instagram, so you've seen all of that. Hey, what was everyone's thoughts? How'd it go?
It was awesome.
Yeah, really good fun.
It was
Really
crazy.
It was pretty crazy. There was a really, really cool spread of so much army variety. It was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So we're going to be going through that today. We'll go through each round and who we were paired, or who we paired against, what armies we went into, how the games went quite quickly, and then each of us have picked one of our games for the weekend to actually expand a little bit on and talk a bit more about, and just go over in a bit more detail. Otherwise, we can't do it for all of them. We'd be here all night.
Yes.
So before we get into that, very quickly, check out Dice Arcade for hobby stuff. You'll hear more from them later in the week. If you like what we're doing and want to support us or see a bit more, and including early bat reps and pre-game show, check out Patreon. We've also got an exclusive narrative campaign being released to there as we create it, which isn't going to come out on YouTube until the entire thing's done.
Yeah.
So you can have fun with that. Over on Discord as well, you can jump in with us, chat with us. There's no Patreon wall for Discord. You can come in, it's all free. Chat with us, show us your minis, see some of the epic stuff that's going on in there. It's always great.
And that's growing really quite rapidly in the last couple of weeks. It started to grow significantly. So it's cool. It's really great. There's a wide spread of people from all over the globe that are there, which is really great.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And make sure to follow us on Instagram. All the links will be down in the description. But not just for Risky Rollers Battle Report stuff, but also when we do stuff like Heresy. We've been posting stories and stuff all over the weekend, putting up pictures and chats about the games. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So we all went down to Geelong Heresy. It was fantastic. The TOs were a lovely bunch. What was everyone's thoughts on the way that it was all set up?
It was. Well, I think first we should just state what kind of tournament, what kind of event it was. So,
Right.
Yeah, it was basically a 3,000 point kind of event. Let's say it's an event. Well, yeah, I mean, it's more of an event than a tournament, right?
Yeah.
Because they had custom detachments and, custom made missions, some of them which were hilarious.
The missions were great.
And then so it's more of a fun thing, the variety.
It wasn't quite a comp tournament because it wasn't restrictive list building wise.
No.
But it was just a casual one.
Yeah.
We're there to have fun, bring some stuff you wouldn't normally. How many Titans do people think were there?
I think there are two.
There was 4. There was 2 Warhounds and 2 Reavers.
Yes.
Plus all the Night Titans.
Well, yeah. And the amount of that as well was crazy.
Yeah, it was epic.
Yeah, but personally, I thought the event was super smooth. Like nothing really went smooth over time, like at all. They were really good with communicating as well with queries and concerns and stuff. Yeah, the event organizers there, Adam and Kingsley, and then the other support staff and that were there were amazing, and the venue was sick. Rod was mad.
Oh yeah,
that place was amazing.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Just providing us beers all weekend. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
so many beers.
Yeah. So it was Adam, Kingsley, Nikki, and Maddie who were running it all.
That's it. Yeah.
Absolute fucking legends. Thank you guys so much for all you did.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it was great to meet you all and to enjoy the event. And then, of course, Rod was running the kitchen and he was the staff at the venue.
Yeah,
buddy star, that guy.
Yeah,
absolute real star of the show.
Yeah.
The people that were there were fantastic. The people from all over Melbourne and Victoria in general, and Geelong, of course. Met some fantastic characters, including the fellas from Legends and Lore.
Yeah. That was awesome. Boyd was there with his demons, and we got on like a house on fire. And there's a few things that are going to be happening in the works with them.
Yep. And so that was great. There were how many tables were set up? There were 10 downstairs and another
Eight?
Eight upstairs.
It was 8, yeah. Well, yeah, it would have been 18 tables because there was 36 players. So.
Yes, correct.
And I think aside from the last round, there was a game happening on every table every round.
Yeah. The tables, terrain-wise, I felt were a bit light.
Interesting. Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
There were probably maybe 4, maybe 5 tables
that had adequate
terrain that had good terrain setups.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just a restriction of trying to run 18 tables of terrain.
I mean, it's not like the everyone running it is Games Workshop or anything like that. You know what I mean?
Even with that, it's not like it was that big of a deal either. As we said, it's more of a casual tournament.
Yeah.
We got there. We threw down some fun armies and had a great time.
Yeah. It was amazing. If you caught our previous podcast where we were talking about going there and our expectations, I think our expectations were not only met but just exceeded in like every single way. From the people to the venue to the games to the armies to everything. Like some of the maddest painted stuff I've ever seen ever.
Some of the conversions were
so
that Imperial Guard army was so good, and the Sisters army was
phenomenal.
so good.
Sisters army was so mint painted, and it's like the same scheme as my Death Watch, and I'm just like, I love it. It's so sick.
It was so good. Yeah.
So clean. As well.
Yeah. And yeah.
So what we'll do for the rest of the podcast, more or less, is go through it in roughly chronological order. We'll talk about each round and who we played against and how the games went and just see how we get through it.
So before we do that, we'll just state that it was scored quite differently from normally. So it's kind of more similar to the way a team tournament scoring works. So basically, your victory points only matter when trying to equate for a draw. So basically, if you won by a certain margin, it would categorize you into a crushing win if it was over a certain amount. Like if the differential was...
If you had doubled your opponent's score, it was a crushing win.
There you go.
If you had won but not doubled their score, it was a regular win.
Yeah.
If you'd lost but not by double, it was a regular loss. And if you'd lost by double the points, as in you had half the points, it was a crushing loss.
Yeah. So, and they were scores out of 25. So it was either 9...
It was 9, 11, or 17 and
25.
23.
25 is a crushing win.
No, it was 23 because there were bonus points.
Sorry,
turns 4 and 5.
Yep.
And it was 19. Sorry, it was 19 or 23, and 9 or 11.
Yeah, so that's.
Then, yeah.
So when you hear us talk about our matchups, and we'll say it was either a win or a crushing win, that'll give you guys context on what we're actually talking about and how that matters, because that was the only thing that mattered regarding how they actually scored and then did future pairings and stuff. Not your victory points.
Yeah, victory points were only used in tiebreaker situations.
Yes.
Which is like a very, very quick aside. I like that setup better than using victory points overall.
I do as well.
A lot of the time, if you win a game but keep your points low, that's often a more hard-fought game than if you win a game but have low, or lose a game but both of you have huge point scores.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, but I like that those are separate things.
Yeah. So yeah. I just wanted to say that beforehand, so otherwise people will be like, what are they talking about?
Yeah. So, round 1. So each round, there were 4 rounds, and it was Geelong Heresy. So each round was themed around going out, getting on the beers with one of the Chaos Gods. So the first round was Zeech. So the theme was a trivia night. And so they had some special rules for the game whereby it was 6 objectives, but you set up 8, and then one of the players got to remove 2 of them. And then there were special rules called the know-it-all rule, where you got rerolls and bonuses for holding objectives in the center.
Yes.
So that was pretty fun. All the games and missions are pretty fun.
I reckon that was actually probably one of the best written missions as a mission. Like, I reckon you could.
Perspective, That
yeah,
and round 3, I think, were the best.
The Tinder date.
No,
that was round. That was
Tinder
round
was
2.
fun. Round 3 was
The round 3 was the bingo.
Oh, was
bingo,
the best...
AABBCC.
Yeah.
Which is basically lifted straight from one of the Onslaught missions.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, so in this round, Zinch's Trivia Night, let's go down and see how we all went. Charlie, do you want to kick us off?
Well, personally, I didn't like this round because I lasted 1 round, so I didn't actually get to play. I was playing Slanesh, and it went really badly.
So it was Dean running Slanesh, wasn't it?
It was Dean running Slanesh. He had quite an optimized list, and I had a very, very fluffy list.
Yes.
So for everyone, that's Dean from Blood from the Blood God, who runs a
blog from the Blood
blog from the Blood God. There we go. Who runs a like YouTube and Insta channel and all that sort of stuff. Again, another person that we're going to be doing some stuff with moving forward.
Absolutely fantastic bloke.
Yeah, great dude, but savage on the table.
Yeah.
You know, he's part of the Vic team and all that sort of stuff. So you know, he's right up there. But yeah, it was. I think everyone got bad touch by that list.
That was a savage matchup.
Yeah, like just one point, he shot 120 shots, hitting on everything. Like he literally hit me with everything, and then I just couldn't make a save. He's like, if there's an award for the worst rolling ever in the whole tournament, it would have been that, and it would have been given to me. It was brutal, funny but brutal.
Yeah. All right. How about you, Laurence? How did your round 1 go?
Yeah, for me, I am up with this demon list with the Chaos Warhound. So basically, he only have 5 units. So 3 demons. I think 1 is Be'lakor and the Chaos Warhound, and then 1 just an infantry. So I got the first turn, so I was able to deal a lot of damage with his other demons. But eventually, because the board was like very close to each other, right, our deployment. So he killed my melee knights. But in round 2, I just focused all my shots to them, and then round 2 I deleted all the demons, and then I just ran around the table and then just played the mission. So I scored 94 against 63.
Oof! Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think that list as well, he had Scarbrand and a Bloodthirster in that as well. It was 2.
Oh, it was that one. Yeah.
Nathan is a good.
It's like full Khorne, so it was deep because even the Warhound was a Khorne Warhound.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It was such a cool list. It's just fun.
So I wasn't able to kill the Warhound, so I just was trading all my smaller armigers to him, and then I was just running around holding at least I think 4 out of 5 objectives until end of round 5.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, nice. How about you, Locky? What did you run into?
I had initially quite scared. I was like, "Oh right, this is going to be a loss." It was Dark Angels, which was just Ravenwing and Deathwing. So many Terminators.
Right. So, I played that list. So many Terminators.
So many Terminators. Laurence played him as well. It was Paddy.
Yes, Pat. I played him in the last round.
Yeah. And he was a great opponent. Probably one of the better lists out there in compared to real 2,000 points and all that sort of stuff. Quite comparable. But yeah, got a pretty significant win on that as well. It was just the firepower that I've got in that list was just horrific, and just pick the right secondaries. He whiffed a few pretty epic saves. One of his entire Deathwing Knight unit just died from 1 round of shooting from 1 unit. So things like that are pretty heavy. But yeah, so I won crushing win, which was 93 to 36, I think.
Wow.
It was pretty hectic. So, but it was good. It actually kept me on my toes a lot because I had to think a lot about it in terms of where to put pressure and how to move. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, sweet. You're on the table next to me as well. I could hear you guys having a fantastic time of it too.
Yeah, I think I had about 4 or 5 beers that first game.
I think that was before the game, right?
Oh yeah, that too.
You were hitting them real hard.
Oh yeah.
First beer was at 9:30. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got started on Saturday morning and didn't stop.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
What about,
sweet.
so how was yours, Dalton? Your matchup?
Yeah, so I ran into a Knights list piloted by Hugh, absolute gentleman, and it was pretty good. I walked away with just a regular win. It was a pretty close fought game. He was running a list very very similar to Laurence's list, just with the regular armatures instead of the Moiraxes, which meant that I was able to over the course of the game grind off his armatures and his knights and just lock down the primary point. So he used them to great effect, stopping me scoring primary a lot. But I just managed to score it more than he did and came out with a win.
Sick. That's good.
Yeah. So at the end of round one, it was pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of. Was quite surprised actually by my score. I thought I was going to get run away with it, but then also, first game, you're real happy. I mean, three of us had wins, so it was. Did you feel a bit crappy after the first round loss? Charlie, did that set the trend for the tournament kind of thing?
Well, it was always going to set the trend for the tournament for me. Like I wasn't going there to win. I'm there to make up numbers. But look, it was pretty brutal for a first time tournament and the first time sort of first game. It was over so fast as well. Like within an hour, the game was done.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, great.
I know you were wandering around chatting to us during our games.
Yep.
Like very very soon.
Yeah, very quickly.
Yeah.
It gave me a good time to get on the beers though, so that was a plus.
That's it, man. You got to see the positives in it, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
I'll very briefly point out that how many turns did everyone get through?
I finished with 5.
Sorry, here you go.
I finished with 5 turns.
5 turns?
Yeah.
Nice.
So we hit the 30-minute remaining mark at the bottom of turn 3, and then we finished the 5 turns. We did 2 full turns in 30 minutes.
Nice.
It was crazy how quick we were just smashing through it. So yeah, we hit the 5 on that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And Charlie, I think it was 1 turn, but the game was over.
Yeah, so I lost 35% of my army in his first shooting phase.
Oh god.
And then I lost another 25 in his next shooting phase. So I got 1 turn with 25% of my army and did I did kill a few units. Like my troop master killed his transport, his drop pod. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. Because he had the Charybdis and the Dreadclaws, right?
Yeah.
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 And then nothing really happened. There's nothing really to report about that game.
Yeah. I got through 3 turns. It was pretty clear how it was going by the end of the 3rd turn. I was starting to run away with it, but just the time it takes to move that many warriors.
Yeah. Need movement boards.
Yeah,
but
it's worth pointing out that the reason I brought it up is because they were giving out bonus points for reaching turns 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Just to encourage people to move through a game and finish one up.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. So that was first round. It was pretty good. We all had a bit of a break, had some lunch. Locky didn't, but the rest of us had some lunch, and we got on a few more beers. And then round 2. Do you want to kick us off once again, Charlie?
So round 2 was Space Wolves.
Yep.
I was again on a terrible board. I need obscuring. And
yeah, you do.
Neither of my
list
first
does,
2
sure.
boards had 0 obscuring. I probably had 5 terrain pieces on both the boards.
Yeah. So there were 3 boards on the ground floor that we saw and went, these boards are horrific.
Yeah.
If you can, no terrain pieces taller than maybe 2 inches.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Again, it was a loss, obviously. But we only got through 3 turns in the time frame. I still had some models left on the table, but we just called it because I had what did I have? I had an avatar back left, and that was pretty much about it. he did some really good moves with wrapping up the Harley transports. One of them was questionable. I'm not gonna lie, one of them was questionable, but I was like, "Fuck it, I've already lost by that point, so go for it." But yeah, that was it.
So that was wrapping them so that when they died, nothing could get out.
Yes, I could only get out 2 models out of one and 1 model out of the other.
Ouch.
But when he blew up the first one, he consolidated into the other one and wrapped it, even though he didn't attack with that unit. I don't know if that's allowed or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is. It's done there. But yeah, that was the turning point of the game. Because before we were just trading, and yeah, that was it really.
So did you say he consolidated into the other unit and then wrapped you?
Yeah.
I mean, if he's got the space to move the models enabling to do that, then that's fine.
Yeah.
He just can't attack. He just can't attack that unit.
He's got the 6-inch consolidation and everything there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as he can actually do that, and then, but he can't attack you. So if he attacked you, that's wrong.
Yeah.
But
So
if he just wrapped you to stop you from doing that, then that's correct.
He blew up the transport,
and then you couldn't get the models out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I questioned it, but I was like, look. At that point, I was probably like, I don't know, 10 beers in, so I was like, it's fine, whatever, I'm cool, all good.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Right, how about you, Laurence? What did you run into?
Yeah, so second game, I am up against Hayden, who is a very good player. So he was running this Corn with 3 Brass Scorpion and I think 2 Lord of...
Yeah, 2.
I'm not sure what kind of unit.
Lord of Skulls.
Lord of Skulls, yes. And then I think he has like 30, 60, 80 infantry.
Cultists.
Yes. And then because this one is like a quarter deployment only, right? So he got the first turn, so he spent 3 CP to just really advance all of this horde army into my face, and then just started shooting with those big knights in front. But this one is like pretty interesting because in his first turn I thought I really don't have a chance, but when my first turn came in, I was able to at least delete some of his scorpions. But then this is also one of my like very memorable game because there's one part of the mission was we were given this model which is our Tinder date, right? But this one is really very powerful, very good in melee and shooting.
It was so crazy.
It was so good. So I should probably explain it. I forgot to explain it at the start of this. So this one was Slanesh's night out on the town. So the theme was of course a Tinder date. So there was some 3D printed. So the organizer Adam Smith had 3D printed a whole bunch of really sweet models and gave them out to everybody. And they were a model that had a little fun little data sheet.
Like his own design model too, by the way. So it's
so he designed, printed, and supplied them. They're fantastic minis. Gave them out to everyone, and they had their own little data sheet. And basically, the rule was the best venue in town was the secondary everyone had to take, which was that you score points for controlling certain objective markers with either your warlord or their Tinder date that they're taking out. So that was pretty fun. Please continue, Laurence.
Yeah, so as I was saying, so this Tinder date, right? So she was very strong. So there was one melee encounter. So one of his Brass Scorpion, all his attack was put into this Tinder date, and I saved 23 out of 24 wounds. So it was really crazy. But in the end, actually I was stabled, but he only have one Brass Scorpion left with 1 wound and his Tinder date and the Warlord. So it was really very fun. So I learned a lot, and then I'm looking to play with Hayden again.
Yeah. That's good.
Yep.
Yeah. Cool. And so it shows what you can do if you keep playing the game and keep pushing the mission as well, even if you have some bad turns.
Yep.
Nice. How about you, Locky? What did you got in round 2?
Mine was pretty much over turn 1 against me. So this was my crushing loss, and this was me up against Dean's those knights. So sorry, the knights, the Emperor Children and Plague West Crawlers. It was It was weird because I went over and met Dean and Hayden by just giving them a beer because I bought too many randomly because I saw that like Hayden had just finished, and then I was like, "Here's a bit, man." And then we were talking about this. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I reckon I could tank it. And then we were like, oh, let's have a chat. I'm talking shit. And then, and then we got paired. I was like, oh, cool. This would be a good test. We'll see what happens. And I think I reckon I could have tanked it if I think I had what Charlie had first round, where I got first turn again. I flew, had low line of sight on all three of his PBCs. So to give you an understanding of Dean's list and how it functions, is pretty much it just starts with 3 Plague West Crawlers on the board.
And a character.
And a character, and the Dark Apostle, because everything else is in the 2 Dread Claws or whatever.
3.
Yeah. And then the bigger one, whatever that one's called.
The Charybdis.
So I was like, cool, all right. As long as I can get these 3 PBCs down, then it's going to be harder for him to kill my Hive Guard, and then I have a little bit more play potentially that only 1 Titan dies, and then I've got the other 2 to shoot back, because if I can get a second round of attacks in, I'll probably wipe a lot of his Emperor's Children, because they're quite weak.
They're super weak, yeah.
That was the plan. So, bang, first PBC, I get like 9 wounds, and it's all flat 3 damage, right? And then he's just like, 9 wounds. 7 saves. I was like, what? 7 5-ups, yeah? And I was like, all right, this is how it's going to go. And then literally after that, I just, even on my big, I just couldn't do 3-ups. I think I did maybe like 2 or 3 3-ups like the whole game. It's just 1s and 2s and 1s and 2s. And the same thing, Dean was just like, wow, bro. I'm like, I know. And so that ended, I think, we actually didn't even get to turn 2 because we just got chatty. And then chatty with Adam and and everyone else, and then just
we also must say that Locky had probably about 15 beers by this point.
Yeah.
And then this loss was made even funnier by the amount of smack he was talking beforehand too.
Oh yeah. And we were talking for so long. Like literally we were talking for like an hour and a half. We're like, oh yeah, we've still got a game. Oh, I'm like, should we just call it? Yeah. Like I'm tabled. Like within turn 1, Harridan was dead, Hierophant was dead, everything was dead but Warriors, Swarm Lord, and Hyrule, and he had nothing dead. Pretty much had 1 Plague Burst Crawler dead. So I was like, yeah, this is just no point. It's a waste of time. So yeah, that was my crushing loss, which was depressing. But whatever. It happens. It happens. Again, optimizing to not optimize, as well as a lot of other contributing factors. But yeah. Fun.
Yeah. So for round 2, I went into the mirror match, which was the other Necron player. So we got talking in between the rounds because I saw he was playing Necrons, and whenever we had a chat, like, it's a cool army, and we were even laughing about how funny it would be if we got paired together and had to play each other. And then lo and behold, the next round, who am I playing? But the other Necron player. So that was Matt. He had some great looking Necrons, a red and black scheme with bright blue energy. Looked sweet. He was running the Silent King and 2 monoliths, and then just warriors and Lich Guard. It was a good looking list. At the end of the day, I ended up coming away with the win. He had a lot more big damage dealers than I did, and I spent 3 turns putting heavy destroyer shots into a monolith, and it never took a single wound. So three turns of 4 heavy destroyers shooting at it. Usually with my will be done for the 2 up to hit. Nah, not a single wound. But,
2 up to hit and rerolling 1s, right?
2 up to hit, rerolling 1s, 3s to wound, rerolling 1s. I'm spending techno-oracular targeting for rerolling, for automatically wounding with them here and there, and just nothing. Didn't take any damage.
Is that just, or has it got just 4-up info? He was just rolling really good 4-up info.
Well, he's got quantum shielding, so it's permanent transhuman and 4-up invulnerable save. So I was getting wounds. I was getting plenty of wounds through because I was techno-oracular targeting and then 4s to wound, drilling 1s. I was getting 3 wounds through a turn at least, and you're just making those 4-ups every time. But nonetheless, the number of bodies I had on the board, the scarabs were running around just hiding and scoring points. I managed to pull out the points ahead of him. Ended up being, it was my closest to a crushing victory. I ended up with 39 points to his 20. So I was 1 point off a crushing victory there, but it was just because of the board control. He didn't have the bodies to deal with objectives.
You're right.
But fantastic game. We talked a lot of smack and just had a great old time. Yeah, good bloke, great game.
Win.
But yeah, so that was round 2. Both of us forgot entirely that we had Tinder dates for that round. And it was like turn 3. We're like, oh, we've got this little grey resin model sitting here.
They're actually very good both in shooting and melee. You should have used it.
They are.
Melee was crazy. It was
melee 8 attacks, I believe, right?
It was 8 attacks at strength 6 minus 3. Was it flat 3?
I
damage? It was just nuts. Just like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
it was hilarious.
Yeah, but yeah, that was that. And then of course by this point we've all been drinking pretty heavily. I didn't really get started until the second round, but by that point I was getting into it.
Got up by then.
I caught up, yeah. And then we all went off for a kick on down in the CBD of Geelong. But we'll regale you with all of those stories after a quick break. We'll just hear a bit from Tim from Dice Arcade and be right back with you.
dicearcade.com.au. All the biggest brands of miniatures and wargaming. Free postage over $250.
Thanks for that, Tim, and make sure to use the code RiskyRollers to grab an extra discount at checkout. So, continuing on with story of the weekend. Rounds 1 and 2 were great. Had a fantastic first day at the tournament. Drinking a fair bit. Locky was already spilling beers before we left the tournament.
Was I?
Yes.
I can't even remember, man. After round 2, it just got hazy. Like the moment we started, I remember probably up until about 6:30 at the night.
Right. So yeah, but by around 6:30, games were all finished. We were sitting around in a circle talking shit, talking about tournament pairings and different systems and stuff. And Locky sitting there talking smack about how he could have taken Dean's list. And yeah, spilling beers and things. And we went down to a kick on down. Went out for dinner essentially, which was just a shitload more drinks. Down at the Sporting Globe. And yeah, it was a fantastic evening. All the fellas were great. Yeah, so that was fantastic. If you're ever at a tournament at an event like that, and you get the chance to
go out with the crew.
Go out with the crew. It's fantastic. Absolutely worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was good. It's good to get to know them, like just not just over the table, but actually to know them like personally. Yeah, in a sort of a relaxed sort of environment. It's really cool.
Well, I mean, Dina and I got chatting about this on the second day, and I'll very quickly mention it here, is that it's one of the great things about the hobby is that it gives you something you can automatically bond people over. But then it's also but it also then leads to, you go out with them and you just catch up in general. Such a great way of doing that. Yeah, very cool. So, so that was great, and Hayden and Dean ended up crashing with us for the weekend. Which again, or Adrian and Dean, as Locky ended up.
Oh yeah, that's it. I forgot I was calling him Adrian because I remember in the awards ceremony, I was like, "Who the fuck is Hayden?" Hayden, and then he stands up. I was like, "Oh, bro, I was calling him the wrong name for like fucking 2 days."
Did you not figure that out until the award ceremony?
Nah, I was still calling him Hayden the whole time.
Oh my goodness.
No, that's it.
I know.
But
it's not my fault. So yeah, because I was like, "Oh, you boys go crash with us," and they're like, "Oh, like get out of the hotel, bro. Like, don't pay there. We've got space because we had like pretty much 2 spare beds at ours. Yeah, so we were just like, let's just catch up and just hang more. I mean, I didn't plan on getting as retarded as you did.
Yeah. So actually, Locky, would you care to regale us with your version of how you earned an award for what was called the jumper chunder blunder? And how you woke up with stuff on your back?
I don't know. So I got the award for it's called the Shenanigans Award, apparently, which is at the event where it always happens, and normally most events just in any general concept have this, where it's like someone goes out and gets too pissed and make a fool of himself.
Yeah.
So that was me, and normally is I'm always that bloke that always does that stuff. It's whatever. Yeah. It was fun. I had fun. Everyone had fun. It was awesome. Yeah. But yeah, so we got home. We got back to the house. I don't know what time, and I woke up at like fully clothed at God knows what time in the morning, and I needed to chuck, and I was like, Hayden was on the floor. I'm like, I'm not chucking up on the floor. I'm not going to chuck up on him. So it was like super hot, and I was take off my jumper, and I'm just going, and then chucked in my jumper. And yeah.
At one point, you tried to break into Charlie's room.
Oh yeah. Then I went to the toilet, and then I was like, come out of the toilet and turn the wrong way, and I'm like, why is there a door here? Like, there shouldn't be a door here. I'm like, oh wait, because exactly there should be a door here. Turn around the other way, retard, and go the other way. So then, yeah, and then I walked back. Yeah. So then I literally spent the remaining day and the remaining 2 games, like, you know.
Written off. You were sitting down the whole time.
I was sitting the whole time, man.
I went for a nap in your car.
I had to go and nap in my car between the 2 rounds. Because I just get excited. I get excited, drink a bit too much, you know.
The most impressive thing about all of this was that the couch was clean. Nothing on the couch.
No, you're
the floor was good. The jumper was fucked.
Oh. But mind you, it's fully clean now and no dramas.
Nice.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Yeah.
But somehow in all of this, is all lovely and clean. Locky stands up in the morning. By stands, I mean sort of staggers to his feet, and oh look, am I alright? I'm clean. I'll wear the shirt again today because he's wearing the white Risky Roller shirt. I was like, yeah, no, you look good. He turns around, all over his shoulder and back.
I don't know how that happened.
We have no idea how this happened. My best guess is that at some point, like he summoned some sort of demon. His head was spinning around the wrong way. That's all I got.
Yep, that's it. That's the talent, right? You just don't know, but the evidence is there. It happened. You just don't know. Yeah. So no, that was cool. Yeah, that was good.
We did that. Other than Locky, the rest of us had a fantastic morning. Chatting with Dean and Hayden.
Yep.
And then we got back down to the hall and got on to round 3.
Yeah.
So let's run through this one, Charlie.
Very
quickly, the mission.
Mission, yeah.
Which I keep forgetting. This was Papa Nurgle's night out at the bingo.
Bingo.
So this was just a variant of one of the Onslaught missions that are lifted from the core book. There's 6 objective markers on a line down the middle of the board. 2 of them labelled A, 2 of them labelled B, and 2 of them labelled C. And basically you scored points for the primary for holding any of them, for holding 1 A and 1 C, and then for holding 1 from A, B, and C. So it was just about scoring specific objective markers, as opposed to necessarily pushing your opponent off theirs.
Yes.
So that was pretty fun. And Charlie, tell us how you did.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a reoccurrence of I lost again. But I was playing Elder versus Knights. Now I always struggle with Knights anyway because they're just so goddamn tough. And when I bring an even fluffier list than my usual list, it makes it slightly harder to get through their all their wounds. I think they had maybe 4 times as many wounds on the table as I had.
Wow.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
Especially in 3K too, right? Because it's just so many more bodies.
Yes.
I need to add also I was running a Wraith Knight in all my games. And at this point, the Wraith Knight was shot off the first round, as it was also in the first 2 games, without doing any wounds. And yeah, look, the guy was playing Hugh. He was a super helpful guy, really, really, really nice guy. Beautifully painted models, and we had a good game, had a good laugh. It wasn't.
That was your first turn matchup, Dalton. Same guy, right?
Nah, this is a different guy.
Oh, different guy with the same name.
Wait, was that Hugh?
It's Hugh, yeah.
No, that was the bloke I played against in the first round.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Super nice guy.
I should remember this. I was at the table next to you. I saw it.
Yeah, exactly. It actually wasn't a crushing loss, so that was good.
Yeah.
I lost 50 to 57, I think it was.
Dude, that's not a bad loss at all.
Yeah, exactly. Good. So I just played the secondaries really well with my I got engaged pretty much maxed out. Got to the 4th round before I had to call it because of time. And the Shining Spears were just doing some work in this game. They took out a few of these little armatures and stuff. The Avatar came, did some heavy lifting. And my Racier got his Warlord down to 1 wound.
Oof.
In one, like, it was just so annoying. I just didn't roll enough, and he just kept rolling his saves. He was so lucky with these saves. Apart from that, good fun. Good game. Played a bit better this one, I think. But again, it's just really hard with such fluffy and squishy troops in my thing. But yeah, no, it was good fun. Had a good laugh.
Yeah, cool. How about you, Laurence? How did your game go?
Yeah, so my round 3 is up against Tom with his Eldar, Simon with the Revenant Titan. So actually,
sweet Titan.
yeah, it's so good. I thought he would just kill me, and then actually he got the first turn, and then I think his strategy was to put all his characters, the bikers, and even this Revenant Titan on just one flank, and then I think he was scared with both of my Mageras, so that was his first target. But unfortunately, I believe he wasn't able to do any much damage on turn 1. I think he only killed 1 Armiger on turn 1, so. My turn 1, I just put also all my firepower to his Revenant Titan, but I think I only gave him 8 damage. So I was thinking, I think if that would be my strategy, that won't do me any good. So I just started to hold also most of the objective, and at the same time just try to kill first all the bikers and the characters. So I actually pretty much tabled him on round 3. So this was a very good victory for the Knights for the 3rd round of mine.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah,
And
nice.
Poor space elves.
Space elves.
Yeah.
It's getting trashed on everywhere.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Yeah, the thing is, there was actually good showing at the tournament of Eldar. There was 3 armies there, which was good. Good to see.
Yeah, for sure.
So I played Space Wolves on a really not great table for him. It was his list was heavily reliant on Thunderwolf Cav and forward pressure from like Invicta Warsuits and a few bits and pieces, but the shooting nature of like the Harridan and the Hierophant it's horrific. So it was 15. Well, he was tabled end of turn 2. So started turn 3 because I got first turn. So yeah, after my 3rd shooting phase, it was over. And again, that was another 90. I think it was 98 to like 11.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That's a super crushing victory, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will. Oh no, I'll just I'll caveat it with the whole thing with I got first turn every game, which is mass advantage for me because it just gives you the chance to get all the defensive buffs that I need off, and then the shooting is just nuts. I actually wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some of the big stuff actually stay in Nid's lists because of the new warrior buff of getting +1 to hit and stuff. But anyway, so that was pretty quick and easy. Great dude. Like I was in such a horrid state, and I was like to the bathroom, back, trying to eat, not trying to eat, hands in my head, going what dice,
Was that the guy who's dressed like a space wolf? He had the mark.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
he was good.
He was loving it. He's just like smashing Guinness at like 9 in the morning. Like, bro, like no chance. But yeah, another short and sweet one.
Yeah.
Dalton.
So my round 3 was against Dark Angels. So this was the other Dark Angels player that was there, Nahal. Again, absolute top bloke. He's only been in the hobby for a couple of years, and he showed up and he played them with expertise and grace.
Lovely.
We only got through 2 full turns, like played out 2 turns, because essentially both our armies did the same thing, which is rely on our staying power to just out-objective the opponent. Neither of us had huge killiness in anything.
So like a war of attrition, you mean, sort of thing?
Essentially, yeah. I ended up getting a slight leg up in that his turn 1 resulted in a scattered handful of warriors and immortals dying, whereas my turn 1 was a dreadnought, one of his flyers, and several marines. So it was just I got a little bit of a leg up at the start, and then that put him on the back foot for objectives because he didn't quite have enough to shift me. So at the end of turn 2, I was ahead by a bit, but we ended up talking it through to turn 4, and there were only 3 ending conditions we could see it. Which was, the one we went with was 60 to 67, the most likely one. So it went to me. But there were 2 others which ended up being 64 to 60, again to myself. And there was one other one which was 67 to 66. Again, I would have come out on top, which is dependent on how certain combats went for Assassinate. But again, it was a real close game. If I'd rolled slightly worse in that first turn, or he'd rolled slightly better, it could have been very different. So, top bloke, look forward to playing again sometime.
It sounds like a mad game, man, with the variance in scores being that close, regardless. Yeah, that's awesome. Like
it was intense, man.
Yeah, that's cool. That's really cool.
But yeah, so that wraps up round 3. It was good fun. Then lunch break, bunch more beers, on to round 4.
I'll caveat with I didn't drink the second day, obviously.
Yeah,
I had one beer. That was
it. I wasn't driving, so I was going hard all day. It was good. So round 4, Charlie.
The mission? You want to explain the mission?
Mission, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So round 4 was Khorne, and Khorne was taking us all to the mosh pit. So the mission was there were 5 objectives, 1 in each deployment zone, and then 3 in a line down the middle. It was deployment with short board edges. And then if you were within 6 inches of the center, you got +1 AP on ranged weapons and +1 strength and +1 AP on melee attacks. And then each of the objectives, you could perform an action with any unit in your army to burn the objective.
Except for your home.
Except for the one in your own deployment zone. Yeah. And then there was a secondary, which was you scored 6 points if you'd burnt 1 objective, 12 points if you'd burnt 2 of them, and there were an additional 3 points if at some point you burnt the objective in your opponent's deployment zone. You trashed their tent.
This objective I thought was the funnest objective. Like,
this was good fun.
Yeah, and the only reason why is because, like, in our game we actually played it that way. Like, we actually were I remember after my game I looked around everyone else, like, no one's trashing objectives. Like,
we had two trashed.
Yeah.
We got through 3 trashed.
Yeah, and I think that it was just super fun with that because it's anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cool. I like that mission.
Yeah,
me too.
So Charlie, how did you go?
So again, right. This is the game with the scoring that annoyed me. Okay, because I would have won, I would have got a crushing victory, but instead I lost.
Ouch.
Yeah. I was playing Dark Angels. For some reason, Eldar seemed to do quite well against Space Marines.
So this was Nahal again, wasn't it?
No, this was Andrew, the older guy.
Ah, gotcha.
Yeah. Yep. Top bloke. We had a total great time on the table. This was a matchup of the 2 worst rollers in the entire hole. It was fantastic. First round. Also, I didn't go first at all in the tournament. So I was second every single time. But because it was end-to-end deployment on this board, it helped me stay away from his models because he was running Terminators everywhere. Deathwing, whatever it's called, and he had a couple of Land Raiders, a couple of Dreadnoughts, Chaplain, and all that sort of stuff, but nothing really with long range, and that could really penetrate me, which was good. So the first round, he maybe took 3 wounds off of. Oh no, actually that's a lie. No, the first round he took 23 wounds off the Wraith Knight, but he didn't kill it. Because he sucks at rolling. Again, Wraith Knight, he's just a bullet magnet. So then my turn comes along. I'm like, right. He's like, oh, you just want to skip it? I'm like, no. We'll do this. Move around. Some great movement around. Like, just sweep them around the side with the Harleys and the bikes. And then they get Wraith Seers into position to just take off some wounds. And then I do my psychic powers, and nothing goes off because I roll like trash. And then I try to shoot him. I do 2 wounds in all my shooting with all my Dark Reapers, with all my Wraith Seers, with all my Dire Avengers, everything. I did 2 wounds. So I was like, well, this is going to go badly, isn't it? This game is going to go just like all the rest. Then the second turn came along. He trashed the center objective at that point. He was sitting there with a whole unit of Terminators. Also, that hitting only wounding on 4s.
The transhuman.
So good.
Yeah,
so
permanent
good.
transhuman.
Permanent transhuman. Like, because I've got really high AP and high strength and all that sort of stuff. Especially with the D cannons, strength 12, -4 AP, and it doesn't matter because you're still only winning on 4s.
And the majority of them have storm shields, so they're either getting like 3 up saves or 4 up invos anyway. So you're like,
exactly,
great.
Exactly. Yeah. Second round goes round again. He drops in these termies at the back, and then because there's a tiny little space I didn't leave out, and I left my Dark Reapers down there, and I was like, oh no. Luckily, again, rolled terribly, and I also played Forewarned when they dropped, so I could fire at them before they could do anything. So I fired at them with Dark Reapers. Now the Dark Reapers started doing stuff, so it took out pretty much half the squad. And so then he took all. In return, he took out 5 of them. So I was running 9, so I had a lot of them. And then again, he didn't do much. So he just whiffed his shots. I think he took a wound off the Wraith Seer. And yeah, that pretty much. Then the next turn came along, and this is when I started wiping things out. So the next turn took out 2 Dreadnoughts. Took out 2 units of the Wraith Seer got up into their face. Wraith Seer killed a ton of what they call Terminators, and then in combat killed half the squad. And then the bikes killed the squad. The Troop Masters finished off the squad. It was just brutal turns. So he had nothing pretty much. He had 1 Land Raider left. He had his characters. Oh no, he didn't have. He had his characters yet, and then he had another unit of Terminators at the back holding the objective, which I was trying to burn. He also burnt the second objective in his turn. Anyway, so at that point he hadn't much left, and then in return he did nothing to anybody really. And then the Avatar came. My third turn came in. Took out his characters with my Wraith Blades in defense. Sort of, they took out a few things here and there. The Wraith Seer took out the rest of that unit she was fighting, and bikes came round with the troop, and took out the back Terminators. He's left with 1 Land Raider at the end, but because of he took out my Titan, which gave him 10 points. And the way that the game ended there, pretty much we ran out of time. I would have wiped him next turn easily, but we didn't play it out until the end. So yeah, that it ended up at 4 points or 5 points difference. Really good game.
Why does the Titan give him 10 points?
Was it Titan Hunter or something?
It's 4 points for the first.
It's 4 points for the first Titan.
Well, either way, it would have really changed it. Because I think
because you ran out of time.
Ran out of time. Yeah. Because we're playing pretty slow, we're just chatting and having a good time. As the whole tournament, we've just been literally having a great time.
Yeah.
And last game of the day, very tired. Minds weren't working. Can't even remember how many shots a Dire Avenger gets. And he's like, "Come on, I've done this 4 times already." Yeah, but it is what it is. Super fun game. In my head, it's a moral victory. It's a moral victory in Elder. I won in my head, but I lost in the paper. So
that's all that matters.
That's all that matters to me. I got a win, but it was a loss. But yeah, great game. Had a great time.
Yeah, it sounds like it was pretty intense.
The rolling in this game I actually did pretty well in after the first round. The first round was terrible. But yeah, from the second round on, I was hitting all my hits and all my wounds, and the expert crafters and everything was just working out for me. And I was getting my CP regen with the Shadow Seer, and I hadn't got any in the games before. But it's fair to say that my Wraith Knight is back on the shelf.
Yeah.
I think all tournament it did 3 wounds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
And
trash.
lost almost 100.
Wow.
Right. Laurence, you had a big game.
Yeah. So my last game, right? So it was against Pat, whom you battled in your first round. So I think this was my most interesting and challenging game. So we didn't choose. Both of us didn't choose the optional secondary of burning the objectives for obvious reasons, because I think it's the first time I really encountered like a very nice Space Marines list, right? So I was really struggling actually picking up my secondaries. But in any ways, I got the first turn. So what I did is just I tried to advance my assassin so I can get my engage, but I rolled a 1, so he didn't reach his engage position. But I was able to put my Cerastus Knight in the middle of the board, which is where one objective is, and one of my Lancer on the right flank. So actually, initially he was also scared. So I actually maxed out all my primaries to 45, but then I think I picked wrong secondaries. For his part, he has maxed out all his secondaries to 45, but I was able to put him down on his primaries to only, I believe, 30 points. So it was just because it's so difficult to deal once with these Terminators, and they're only like what is transhuman, right? Only can be
perma
wounded in
transhuman.
force.
Yeah.
And he was also rolling very hot on his saves. Like even if I wounded him on 2, then he would still save with 6s to roll. Actually, I was also rolling very good in my my exploding 6s for the lightning locks, even for the big lightning locks of the Magera.
Surprise! You always roll hot.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, so he was like, "Oh my gosh, you're really rolling so great in 6s," but at the same time, he was also rolling his save. So yeah, down to the wire, came down to round 5, and then like, okay, let's just think. If I do this, I do that. What would be the scenario? So ended up like I lost by 3 points. So 85 to 82 to him. So that's why. So this was very interesting. So this is the game that I want to go back and then like just analyze what could have been. So maybe I chose the wrong secondaries. But yeah, it was really fun. Pat is an amazing and tactical player. So I would love to play with him again.
His list is great.
Yeah.
Like the list is basically like 2 units of normal 10 Terminators, 2 units of Deathwing Knights, the Ancient Apothecary, 2 units of Ravenwing, 2 of the Plasmas, Land Speeders, and then 2 Rift.
Yes.
The Dark Talons, and then a big unit of Blade Guard as well. So there's just like so much transhuman, so much good anti-tank, reliable anti-tank, that it's like if it gets in the right place and does the right things, it's immovable, but it also can just mortal wound and just damage shoot you off the table as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I need some practice against those Space Marine players, which unfortunately I don't think we have lots of.
There's none in our club.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a very good game. So I love it, even though I lost.
It's good, man. That's what you want. It's experience you want from any of that situations, for sure.
Absolutely.
The losses are what you learn from.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about you, Locky? How was your round 4?
It was pretty devastating for the opponent as well. This one was like the culmination of just like kind of a lot of things going right for me over the whole tournament just came all into one, and just it was even better. So I played against Admech, but with Admech Knights. So he had it's not the Porphyron, it's the other one.
Asterius?
Yeah, the one with the sea beams.
Yep.
So that, and then 2 Castellans, and then, Electro Priests, Destroyers, Infiltrators, Taraxi, Rangers, whatever. We got turn 1 again. Turn 1.
4 turn 1s.
4 turn 1s.
Wow.
For turn 1, the big knight, and 1 Castellan dead from just shooting.
Wow.
And that's from the Harridan and the Hierophant. The Hierophant converted from 16 shots, 14 wounds. And it was flat damage 4, and he failed 10.
Oh my gosh. Does the
It's like
does
40
the big
damage.
knight have those void shields?
Nah, it doesn't. It just has a iron shield.
Oh, just the invuln. Okay.
Yeah, just the invuln. So, and then the other one got killed by the Harridan, which pretty much has the same profile. So, he was destroying my CP quite well with the assassin, the one that
Calidus?
the one that makes it cost more.
Calidus.
Yeah, that. But then I also managed to get a turn 1 charge off with Dimachairon, just rolling really good on advances and just forward deploying it, and then just with its double move. And so basically he had 1 Castellan on his home objective, the big Atreus thing behind that, and then the other Atreus thing. The other Castellan on the far right flank. So for turn 1, the Hive Guard didn't even get to shoot because they were out of range, and it was pretty much just the 2 Titans and the Dimachairon that minced his main 3 Titans. But what happened was his error on his deployment. He wasn't far enough away. So turn 1, I made the Dimachairon Obsec. So it launched up, and he was only just 3 inches away from the objective. I covered the objective when I charged and took it from him, and then he didn't manage to kill me. So then my next turn, I actioned and I destroyed that objective, and I took the thingo, the secondary.
Yeah.
So then it just like negated his ability to score his home objective point. And then it still was just really hard for him to kill the Dimachairon. It lasted for another turn. And then it was turn 3 full table. Turn 4 table.
Yep.
Yeah,
Wow.
So yeah, killed everything. So I think it was 92 to 25.
Nice.
Was the VP scoring as well. Yeah.
Damn.
It's crazy, man. When you can have a Hierophant hitting on 2s with 16 shots that's strength 10 -3, put 2 CP on it to make it 4 damage. You can also spend a CP to give it exploding 6s. It's crazy. And like one round of shooting, I rolled 7 6s. And you're just like, am I Laurence right now? Like, is this what's happening? So, it's just one of those things. It's like, it could have swung the completely other way, right? Because of the long table edge, his C-beams obviously would be at max range, and they'd be like, probably could have minced me alternatively, like, the amount of shots, and it's flat 6 damage on each thing. If not, it's probably more. I'm not sure. So a few of the games have been like that, where I've just been able to get turn 1 and just cane. And like, everyone talks about the efficiency of Hive Guard, but man, the efficiency of like the Titans now, because you can give them those buffs, it's crazy.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I think if he got the first turn, maybe the story would be a bit different.
Yeah, definitely would, for sure.
Yeah.
But good game. Chris was a great dude. He was sort of just like, we got to the point where we were just like, should we even just roll for that? We're like, no, don't bother. But we got to, it's like, really, do we waste time? But yeah, and then I felt quite bad because of the last 2 games. I was being a bit when you're that hungover and you're just not engaging with other people, I feel like just being a bit of a dick sport. You're not, because they understand, but it's just feel like, I wish I was a bit more engaging and whatever. But
Yeah.
alas, it was still fun.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, my final game was almost the opposite of that. So most of the tournament, I haven't been rolling super well, but one thing I can roll is reanimation, and
yes,
I reanimate warriors like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
So those things do not stay dead.
Nope.
And that seemed to desert me this game. So I ran into knights, and this is probably my most interesting game of the tournament. So my only loss as well. So I went second, which is pretty standard. I think I only got first turn in the first game of this tournament, it's fine. It just makes it a bit harder. My list is designed to deal with going second, but if I go first, it just makes it better because it can get that leg up in the objectives. But I went second. We both took the secondary for burning objectives, for trashing the place. He, in his first turn, so let me run down the list. In his first turn, this is what he killed. It was 20 warriors, all 4 destroyers, the Doomstalker, both reanimators, the unit of Scorpex, and the unit of Lichguard.
It's like half your army.
That was his first shooting phase.
That's
Sorry, no, I think all of that was his first shooting phase except the Lichguard and the destroyers. Those were killed in the next turn, mostly destroyed in the first shooting phase, but then finished off over the next 2 combat phases. Still first turn. Second turn was another 20 warriors. The Catan was dead. 2 units of the Immortals, and a couple of characters.
Jeez.
It was rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. That said, so he was running the Porphyrian Bob. Sorry, it was against Michael running his Porphyrian Bob. He was an absolute top bloke, a real gentleman, great to play with. A Castellan, couple of big knights, and then 4 armigers. Over the course of 5 turns, I think I killed 3 armigers, and that was it. But nonetheless, basically the whole game was me not rolling any of my saves or any reanimations. He took no prisoners because that's a good one against Necrons.
Yes.
Normally people can get 5 to 10 points out of that just based on my reanimations.
Yeah.
I think I only reanimated maybe 20 models throughout the whole game. 22.
right.
Or sorry, 22 wounds throughout the whole game. So that was not great. But still, I pushed hard on the objectives. It came down to, I think it was turn 5 in the combat phase. He wiped my last unit off the board, which of course meant he automatically had a crushing victory. That said, when we tally up the points, I did come out with 57 to his 46. So regarding points-wise, that all worked well, and it was just about spending the entire game just pushing for points as hard as I could. I ended up trashing all 3 objectives down the center. I never got to his backline one, but I trashed the 2 in the middle for 12, and then rather than let him trash the other one in the center for 6, I trashed that myself, and then went, well, now I just need to survive, and I didn't. But it was a good game, and really shows that you've just got to keep pushing for points, even if your army's not sticking around.
Or just table them.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. At an event where tabling counts as victory,
Of course, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking at that and going, okay, maybe. And I don't want to blame dice, so I've been thinking about how I could have done it differently, and maybe if I'd taken Bring It Down instead of Titan Hunter and just not bothered to shoot at his big knights. But then again, I did have firepower to deal with big knights, provided it didn't all die turn 1. So it's kind of. Yeah,
I mean, I do think sometimes you're legitimately able to blame bad dice if you did roll poorly, like below average, because that's the thing. Like you're saying, you still did everything else right. You're still scoring right. So it's actually the thing that is failing you is the dice in this situation. There probably wasn't much else that you could have actually done differently from a play point into that matchup, really.
Yeah.
By the sounds of things.
Yeah. Well,
if the score was 20 points different or whatever, you know what I mean, or there was like some big discrepancy there, you kind of go, well, yeah, you shouldn't be blaming on dice because it probably was somewhere else. Yeah, but like,
I mean, I was ahead by 11 points at the end of the game, but it was just a matter of I needed to keep something on the table, and I just couldn't.
Yeah. Well, then, I think that's what I'd be taking away from that. It's like, no, you're doing the right thing. Just got unlucky that one.
Yeah. But nonetheless, it was an absolutely phenomenal game. Michael's a gentleman, and it was good. But yeah, so that was round 4. Some of the terrain on that was actually some of Wagger's terrain, some of Miniature Scenery's Eldar stuff. I just wanted to shout him out real quick because he was there and he provided a bunch of prizes for the event.
Yeah,
he's been putting up his orc Gork and Morkanaut lists.
So good.
The models have been working on in the Discord for the last couple of months, and they're looking excellent.
They're hilarious.
Yeah,
so funny.
So fun.
Awesome. But yeah, so that was pretty cool. So what did everyone think about the whole event? We've all gone to a tournament together now. How how did we go? What are our thoughts and reflections?
I mean, the social element's just the best.
Oh,
Like,
so good.
yeah.
It's like the
100%.
people
yeah.
you meet, and like especially when you're meeting. I mean, for us, especially for me, with like risky rollers and everything, and then seeing other people that are content creators or other people that are doing the kind of same sort of thing, you can have those kind of conversations where you don't get to because you're just sitting with your own people in a bubble, you know. So
Yeah.
and just what it does for the networking is just amazing. That's what I loved about it more than anything, really.
Yeah, I loved it. Like, I actually got to play different armies than you three fools every other week, you know.
That too.
Like playing, even though it was only one round, but playing Dean Slanesh, you know, I've never faced him ever, and it's just good to get some experience to see what they can actually do. Outside of our usual local meta sort of thing, and also because we've been in lockdown for so long, we haven't really been able to get out of our little bubble. It's good to get away, experience something new, just have a great laugh, and actually meet a lot of like-minded people from all around the area. It's been great. Really, really enjoyed it.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it's really like an amazing experience, especially meeting all these different people, right? So everybody plays Warhammer, we love it, and at the same time, we went there together, four of us, and then of course, mostly met new friends, and then looking forward to meeting and playing with them again. And then, of course, as a knight player as well, I was really surprised with the representation of the knights. So there are lots of knights there over there. And then I said, oh my God. Yeah, so...
I think there was, like, six knight players?
Something like that,
maybe more, including those River Titans, right? If you count them, I believe more than 6.
No, yeah, if you count the Titans, it's more, but just the Knights, as in just Imperial Knights, because it was like Chaos Knights, which was really
there are also several players playing mixed Knights and things too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. It was it's great to meet some people, play different armies. The people were definitely the highlight. So many great people
and Adam.
Good network.
Adam's hilarious.
Adam. Absolutely.
Bro, the TA.
What a guy.
Such a mad dog.
So funny.
Toppest bloke ever.
Yeah.
Totally. We were chatting so much about heaps of stuff, and he's
And then you challenged him to outdrink him.
Yeah. I failed that one.
It was one of your mistakes that evening, I think.
Yes.
Potentially the biggest.
But hey, what do? We learn from our mistakes by repeating them. So I'll probably do it next year.
Are you doing it next year too?
100%. I'll be like, bro, I'm stepping it up this time. I'll eat through the day, and I'll probably be able to go an extra hour. So, you know.
And drink some more, right?
Yeah.
That's it, exactly.
Yeah, going back to the first night, we were at the house before 12 o'clock. So it wasn't even that late.
Yeah. Oh no, because I said to everyone,
you were like,
I gotta go.
I need to go.
Yeah.
You were like,
I need to go.
I was the last half
take me home.
Going, Let's
I'm
go.
going.
We need to go.
I was literally like, I'm getting an Uber.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys don't come with me, I'm getting an Uber and I'm going.
You didn't even know the address of the Airbnb.
I know. I would have. I don't know what I would have done. I would have probably just woken up somewhere in the middle of Geelong without a kidney or something.
Funny.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend, and definitely keen for the next one. Speaking of which, so
hopefully more Riskier Rollers player would be able to attend next year, so it would be even more fun.
Yeah, I think we've got at least another 2 or 3 people that are going to come with the crew. So
yeah, for next year.
That's it. You know, like people that are listening now that want to jump on the Discord and be part of the Risky Rollers crew that goes to these tournaments every year. Like the bigger it goes, we'll just end up getting like just big ass houses on Airbnb, and everyone just hang out together. And because I mean, the night we went up, the Friday night, we went up and played a game. We had Charlie's Awesome Chicken.
Hey.
We played a really like weird, wacky game, and it was with household terrain.
It was such a classic. Look, when I got into 40k and that sort of thing, like now we've got like neoprene mats and proper plastic terrain, all that kind of stuff. It's great. But I remember playing it just on the kitchen table with piles of books and a sheet, and it was great.
Yeah.
So it felt very much like that. It was great fun, great evening.
Yeah, it was super fun. So yeah.
But then we found out that Laurence had a whole box of terrain in his car.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In the car the whole time.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. But yeah, so Dalton and myself are going to Sydney in January.
Hey, I'm going to.
And Laurence.
Oh, are you coming, bro?
Yeah.
I already paid. You asked me to pay.
Oh,
Yeah,
bro,
yeah.
yes! I didn't know you were coming too. That is so awesome.
Yeah. Gen 9 event. Are you talking on the Gen 9 event, right?
Yeah.
So,
Oh, so I
January
paid
9th,
already, yes.
Laurence, Locky, and myself are heading up to Sydney for
oath,
Dice
man.
Arcade's Warhammer tournament. It's going to be great.
Yeah, like, so Tim's running a proper GT, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good to, spread Risky Roller's wings and, get out of Melbourne, and we want to touch all of Australia. So, we're going to try and get everywhere. We want to try and get up to Queensland, get over to WA. Unfortunately, we can't go to Uprising because what are we doing, Dalton?
Because we're running our own event. It's not we're running 40k is the way, which is a 16-player RTT that weekend. So that's going to be epic. It's 29th of January, 16 players down in Moorabbin. All of that will be, I think by the time this goes up, sign-ups should be up.
Yeah, they will be. Yeah.
So check that out. If there's any places left, get in touch with us and get your spot.
Yep.
So we're running that more as an event than a tournament, where we're not pushing it as a super competitive side of things. We're more so we want to be running a series of events that are more casual. That if you're someone who maybe hasn't gone to a tournament before or hasn't connected with that side of things, come along. We'll get you into it. You'll get into the spirit of it. We'll have a great time. Plenty of beers, plenty of games. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 3-game round robin style. So, there's no like crazy pairings, and it's just taking your score. It's just real simple. There's no real crazy limitations on there's no limitations on what you can bring. And it's very laxed when it comes to painting and stuff that too. Whatever.
Look,
if you don't
ideally,
have time,
3 color minimum, but we can use our own discretion for it. Yeah.
Exactly. So, speaking to anyone who wants to kind of crack that door or, jump in or whatever, do it. Come hang.
Yeah.
It's going to be heaps of fun.
Absolutely.
So none of us so Dalton, myself, and Laurence are not going to be attending. As in, sorry, we are attending. We're not playing.
Participating.
Yeah. So we'll just be running the event. So we'll be TOing it ourselves. So it's open for everyone else.
Yeah.
I'll be bouncing around the bottom tables with everyone. So,
Yep.
So yeah, which I'm pumped for. I'm so excited. This is something that we really want to do. Risky Rollers is a brand that encompasses all aspects of it, and we want to help build this community.
This will be the first of many.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
can't wait for that. Yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah. But I suppose with that we'll have to start rounding things up. Say to the 3 of you, thanks so much for coming along down to Heresy. We had such a fantastic time.
Yeah.
To everyone listening, thank you for listening and listen to us talk about it. And we hope that you guys can manage to make your way down to that next year.
100%. We now that potentially COVID's in the wind. When we were speaking to Adam, that it's going to get bigger and bigger and more players and then grow at an event. And so I'm going to be telling everyone, man, just go come to it. It's fun. So
it's so much fun.
Yeah, definitely worth it. So hopefully you guys can join us on the next one. Yeah.
So, and as always, jump into our Discord and chat with us about upcoming events and things like that, and see how we go. Follow us on Instagram because we'll be constantly putting up progress on there and what's going on with different events we're going to, how games are going. And yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.